Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffery Combs, President and Founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Facebook Live, 2 for Tuesday. Welcome. 23 years of hosting Facebook Lives and More Heart Than Talent live conference calls. This originally started as a live conference call at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Tuesday afternoon, 2 o'clock Pacific, and it started off as a women's workshop. It then evolved into More Heart Than Talent on a 10:30 Eastern Standard Tuesday night call that I hosted from 1999 to 2018. I then changed the direction and moved it to a Golden Mastermind Tuesday afternoon Facebook Live, half an hour Facebook Live. So welcome. Timothy Hardy, how are you? Timothy, how do you know me? Thank you for following me. I appreciate you. Kayla, good to see you this afternoon. Looking forward to coaching you. Twana, looking forward to being your coach very soon. Joe Casper, great to see you from the Atlanta airport. Henry in Wyoming, good to see you this afternoon. It's good to see everyone here this afternoon. Topic for today's Facebook Live is living the solution while creating results. John Lundberg, so good to see you this afternoon. My privilege and pleasure. James Pryor, thank you very much. Thank you for that compliment. The archives from, is that from South Carolina, Timothy? Colleen Sabol-Olitsky, thank you for your endorsement this morning, Colleen. Would love to connect with you. Sending love from Cody, Wyoming. For those of you who don't know Henry is one of my young superstar coaching clients living in Cody, Wyoming. John Law, I am the man and you're the man. Thank you, John. I really deeply appreciate that. Don Harris, good to see you, Don. Good to have you on here. Jimmy Hammonds and Don lives over in beautiful Monterey. So if you've never been there, it is an amazing place. Timothy Hardy, reach out and receive a free 20-minute coaching session from me at any time, or you too, Jim Hammonds. If you ever like a free 20-minute call, reach out to me. Would love and honored to be able to connect with you. Let's move into inspiration today. Living in the solution. What is the solution? Well, as you understand, a lot is changing in the world. Every single day, there's a new mandate, there's a new law, there's a new situation that you're required to understand, to operate under, to create commerce and traffic and free enterprise and a life and still have dreams and all the other situation while your body is in whatever your body is going to be in, because your body understands that the world is changing and you're going to have less and less freedoms right now as you're starting to adapt and adjust to this. But that doesn't mean that you still can't be free in many of your own situations. You can free yourself from worry. You can free yourself from the situations that haven't happened while focusing on the solution. And it's going to be your responsibility to really understand what letting go means. Letting go is your ability to separate your feelings from what's out there, from your feelings from what's back there. So what's back there is the past. What's out there is the future. Where you are right here is a place called now. Now consciousness means that your focus is on who I can be and what I can accomplish. Well, as a human being, you're going to experience anxiety, fear, and doubt. And how often you experience that will be determined on your ability to let go. Floor, how are you this afternoon? Mark Weber, good to see you. Thank you very much. Mark has been under the weather. Let's send Mark some healing energy. Anyone who's experienced any illness or any challenges with any viruses or anything that's going on, let's send everyone some love because we all deserve it. So I'll take a deep breath while we focus on the solution. Number one solution is focus on your health. And your health will be empowered by you not being anxious, worried, afraid of the wolf at the door, or worried about what hasn't happened, or worried about getting the virus, the flu, the vaccine, whatever it is. Do your best not to worry. Focus on the solution. Who can I be today? How can I be my best today? How can I improve these are questions you ask yourself. Focus on improving your skills, your reflexes, your ability to adapt and adjust. Trust your intuition. Instead of listening to many other people for opinions, listen to your own. Trust your feelings. Start to believe, a sense of certainty. And when you know, when you know what's going on, do that. Know it, accept it, be in it, trust it. And if you own a business, trust your feelings rather than avoiding them. So if you're a day trader, if you're an insurance salesman, a network marketer, a direct salesperson, a health coach, any multitude of situations, a real estate investor, a real estate agent, you're selling products, services, benefits, and features, trust your feelings. Instead of avoiding the feelings, accept them. So if you're worried and scared, accept that, but let go of it quickly. It's not a how do I, it's an I am state. So I am letting go. It's an affirmation, but physical letting go is the emotions that you hold on to so that the physiology of your body isn't in fight or flight. So you're not creating dis-ease. You're not in inflammation. If you grew up in an inflamed family environment, it means there was trauma. There were people... There was alcoholism, there was abuse, there was other situations going on. Well, accept that was it, and that inflamed family environment that you grew up in doesn't have to be the environment that you hold on today. Separation means this happened, I accept it, I'm letting go of it. So there's the words, and then the feelings is I'm no longer the mind-body connection. I will no longer continue to perpetuate that. People ask me, how do I break an addiction? Well, it goes beyond a how do, it's an I am state. You go one day without drinking, one day without being critical, one day without being judgmental, one day without eating sugar, one day, do a detox, one day without food. I mean, you go one day without it. But the minute your ego goes, yeah, but that's going to be hard. Well, you've lost before you started. And so if you can't do one day, make your bed one day, do the dishes one day. I mean, simple discipline that you can be. It's a be state. You can be one day at a time. You want to break the situation down today, do the most simple common denominator that you possibly can. That's you. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's what you're saying. That's me. And that's I. I am. I am not going to avoid my business today. I am capable of going to bed tonight without criticizing myself. I can go one day without sugar. I can go do a celery detox one day. Drink 64 ounces of celery juice, 32 glasses of celery juice. Go one day without food. Do a detox. I mean, do a cleanse. Do one day, do an emotional detox one day. I mean, that's what it requires, is the simple discipline. But the minute your ego goes, oh my God, I'm not sure if I can do without popcorn, without ice cream, without alcohol. I mean, you've failed before you even started, which gives you the excuse to live the payoff. The payoff is disappointment. But if you can live this one day simple principle, then you'll start to put back-to-back sobriety together, emotional sobriety. Emotional sobriety will lead to results because your physiology will change, your energy will change, who you attract will change, what you transmit will change. But if you live in worry, if you worry about getting sick, if you worry about other people, if you worry about what someone's going to say, if you're worried about putting yourself out there, if you live in that state of anxiety, you will unequivocally magnetize your reality, the very situation you seek to avoid to fulfill your disappointment. Now, living in the solution means that you have outcomes that you're focused on and you follow through on them. So if you own a business, there are certain tasks and duties that business requires that you follow through on and not you avoid them. And living the solution means you focus on situations that are going to be empowering rather than focus on disempowering content, rather than worrying about what hasn't happened. And so the solution is results, that you're able to create results one day at a time, back to back, like back-to-back hours, so that it compounds into a day. And you break it down to the most simple common denominator, letting go of anxiety, fear, and doubt. And as you let go of anxiety, fear, and doubt, you're not the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. Debbie Ricks Fuller, good to see you. Scott Lucas, good to see you. James Pryor, that's great content. Aaron, good to see you. Aaron said at the beginning of my sobriety, I was committed to not be angry for just one day. Thank you. That is great content there. So the solution, as you live in the solution, it means you're not dwelling on the problem. And that's what many people do. So you have people in your influence, and perhaps you've eliminated many of these people, but there will be people in your influence who are drama addicts, they're chaos addicts, they're spiritual emotional vampires. And there are going to be people in your circle of influence, they're going to tell you, have you done this? Have you taken that? If you haven't, you should do this. There are people in the world that want to shame you, use guilt to control you. There are people who want to make you wrong, and it's going to be your responsibility to live in the solution. The solution will not to prove them wrong. The solution will not to be in the ring with them. The solution will be to let them go diplomatically. And if they can't handle being let go diplomatically, then that's their responsibility. The solution will be letting go of worrying about offending people, getting in trouble. That will be the solution. The solution is not spending time in your analytical egoic mind worrying about situations that haven't happened. The solution is doing situations that are empowering. Take a walk. I mean, simple situations. Take a walk, read a book, meditate. I mean, these are simplicity situations rather than staying overwhelmed all day long, creating nothing. The solution will be creating results rather than avoiding the situations you should do. If you're a chronic avoider, the solution will be one day of production, one day of relaxed energy, one day back to back of letting go. The separation of the feelings from the events that create procrastination, avoidance, worrying, anxiety, fear, and doubt. The solution will be silencing the critic that goes, yeah, but you don't understand. Your ego is going to do everything in its power to talk you off the wall and bring you back over here. You want to climb up the wall and go on the other side of the fence. That is where freedom is. But if you're over here in anxiety, fear, and doubt, then the ego will manifest a lot of stories about the future that hasn't happened. All the stories that you're worried about, you will absolutely start to magnetize and polarize to reality the very situation you seek to avoid to fulfill your disappointment, which creates the payoff that so many people create. I was coaching a client today who told me how he got into a conflict with a significant other because he mentioned something that he knew would create a problem. So he wasn't living the solution. He was living in a force counterforce situation to fulfill his feelings. So he brought up a statement that I knew I shouldn't have said this. Well, he's right. He shouldn't have said it, and he knew it, but to sabotage himself, to create the payoff, which is to live in the problem. And that's what many people do. You live in the problem. How many of your parents dwell on the problem? How many of your relatives dwell on the problem? How many people do you know they dwell on the problem? They're emotional, spiritual vampires. And they want you to be part of their problem. They will willingly volunteer you into their problem by attempting to provoke you into validating, justifying, and explaining yourself. That's not the solution. The solution is to neutralize them, be non-attached to them, and not feel guilty about detaching from the situation. But if you feel guilty, now you're in the problem. If you let go of these people, you're in the solution. And it's also imperative you get beyond, yeah, but that's my family, that's my mother, that's my aunt, that's my uncle, it doesn't matter who it is. What matters is that you live in the solution. And the solution is not to continue to live in the problem. And if you keep going back to these people over and over, and you let them guilt you into submission, or they use shame to control you, that's the problem. If you keep associating with people who are addicts, that's a problem. But if you separate yourself from them, that's the solution. And then people say to me, what if it's my spouse? Well, what if it is your spouse? That's your responsibility to create the solution. But if you continue to stay in the problem of a dysfunctional relationship, of a dysfunctional marriage, a dysfunctional job, then you're just as dysfunctional as the person creating the dysfunction. And it's going to be your responsibility to create the solution. Yeah, but you don't have any idea what I'm going to go through. It's not what you're going to go through. It's who you are one day at a time. Because it's that one day at a time, who you're being, that's what you start to let go of. Thank you, James. James put family entanglements. A great deal of my time coaching is devoted to assisting people to understand that a lot of their addictions are grounded in silent suffering, stuffing your feelings, letting other people control you, and then complying with the agenda and falling right into place with what people tell you to do. And many people are getting guilted into this medically today in this whole medical freedom environment that we're in. They're getting guilted into doing things that they know they shouldn't do, and they know that their intuition tells them not to do it, but they do it anyway because they don't want to upset their loved ones. That's the fucking problem. That's what many people live. They don't want to upset someone, so they give away their power to not upset someone, and then they tiptoe quietly to their grave, and they arrive safely. And then they live the greatest pain, the pain of regret. And so many people do this. And they give their power away to people that they have no real connection to, other than the connection is the emotional addiction. And as you begin to let go of these people, these emotional spiritual vampires, you'll change who and what you attract. This can be an employer, a job, a relative, a significant other, a spouse, someone down the street. The solution is to learn to let situations go that are absolutely toxic, disempowering, overwhelming. There's gaslighting, ghosting, shame, guilt, abandonment, rejection involved. And the more that you're aware, thank you, James, the more you understand, the more you know, the more you KNOW, then you're in the separation stage of letting go of feelings from repressed events that you hold on to. That's what creates this scaled consciousness. It means you're going up the conscious ladder. You're letting go of feelings and events. So if you own a business and you just keep avoiding it, I mean, you know you can succeed in it, but you keep avoiding it. Well, that's the contradiction that you live in. It's the yin and yang. It's the good and the bad. It's the black and the white. It's the right and the wrong. The solution is to let go of your anxiety, fear, and doubt and to relax into production, because you cannot succeed without production. The problem is to stay busy, and that's what many people do. They're busy. They're busy being busy. And they're busy flitting around, winging it without any structure. The solution is to have structure, a method, a routine, that you practice the emotional, simple discipline one day over time over a long career. The solution is to let go, because once you let go, you're creating an allow space. And that space in the morphinogenic field is called consciousness. And that consciousness is the web. And that web that you're connected to in consciousness is now called the quantum field. And in the quantum field, the content flows to you. And in that flow that you're flowing in, you end up knowing the solution. You know who to be, what to do. And this happens in money. So if you're struggling with money, you're waiting for that check to come, or you're waiting for that one person to show up, well, that means you don't have allow space around it. You got it by the throat. So if you're waiting on your government check, or if you're waiting on your tax return, or if you're waiting on money, a stipend from someone, well, that keeps you from creating new money. Because if you're waiting on it, it means you have it stuck in the universe. When you let go, when you separate your feelings from the events, and you let go of trying to control the outcome, that's what you have to learn to do in this world right now. You have to let go of control, because you cannot control the narrative. The narrative is used to seduce the populace. And so the sheeple that walk like this, they'll walk themselves right to the grave, and they want you to go with them. So they'll, come on, you got to go with me. Come on, come on. I can't believe you won't do this. Come on, come on. Are you crazy? No, I'm not like that. That's the problem. Many people want to continue to stay in the problem, and they continue to live in that problem, and they don't have the courage to live in the solution. So courage shows up at 200 cycles a second in this content. Courage is not an emotion. Courage is a quality, and you can access courage. It's like pulling your hand up on the rung of the ladder. You pull it here and then here, and you pull up. That courage shows up in your gut. So if you're disconnected from your gut because you're in fight or flight, well, you're not accessing both brains. You're not accessing your limbic brain, and you're not accessing the brain in your gut, which is also connected through the vagus nerve, because you're in so much fight or flight. As you let go of fight or flight, people tell me frequently, I want to hire you, but you don't understand. I don't have the money. I do understand. I've been financially challenged a few times in my life, but that didn't stop me from creating or attracting what I knew was capable of. There's money in the mail. You can sell situations. But most importantly, by letting go, you can change who and what you attract. And who and what you attract is a byproduct of the energy you transmit and transmute. And if you're transmitting anxiety, fear, and doubt, if you're transmitting broke thoughts, poverty consciousness, just get by mentality, if you're focused on struggling, if you've been a noble struggler for your whole life, if you can't figure it out, if you live in your head, well, you're going to attract people and situations to perpetuate the same set of feelings that you have been holding on to. So organically, as you let go, you create organic leads. You do this through service and value. But you can't create service and value till you accept the fact that you're valuable. And your value is not based on your bank account. Your value is based on your values. But if you don't have any values and all you do is criticize yourself, your value ladder is very small. As you start to scale the value ladder and do this scale consciousness, as you start to add more value to your life and add people in your influence who are more connectable, more relatable, you start going to 12-step meetings, you start going to meetup groups, you go to B&I meetings, you start to change your circle of influence, you let go of the people who guilt and shame you, you stop partying. You stop hanging out with party boys and party girls. You take yourselves out of the bars and nightclubs, and you start to live a more holistic and spiritual life. Whatever your spirituality is, you start to become a lot more holistic. You change the food choices. You change the people you surround yourself with. You stop mating and dating people who are beneath you, and you stop doing the situations that keep you in guilt and shame. You're going to start to change who and what you attract, because you're now living the solution. So when I got clean and sober, I found out real quickly the solution was a meeting a day for 90 days. And I said, I can do this. I can do the one day. I can do a week. I can do 30 days. I did it. I did 30 days, 90 days, 2 years. Oh my God, 2 years. I got a 2-year chip, got a 10-year chip, 20-year chip, 30-year chip. 33 years later, living the solution. That's what can happen. My name is Jeffery Combs. I'm the president and founder of Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. ALG, always letting go. Always be letting go. always BBLG, always be letting go. Separate your feelings from the events that shape them. Don't get yourself entangled with people who want to create conflict. Focus on the solution, let go of the problem. If you haven't experienced a free 20-minute coaching call, feel free to go right up there in Messenger, request that, and I will get back to you within 24 hours. If you're an existing client and would like to add on to your existing coaching, feel free to reach out to me, and I will offer you my unique marketing proposition. I'll be back here on 2-4-Tuesday. That will be 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight, Tuesday, August 24th. You have a great afternoon.